What would it feel like to wake up tomorrow with energy that was actually yours? Not borrowed from coffee, not forced through willpower, not the brittle alertness that fades before mid-morning and leaves you reaching for something just to get through the afternoon. Real energy. The kind that used to come naturally, the kind where you open your eyes and the body is already there, present, warm, ready, before anything external has arrived to help it. Most people reading this right now know exactly what it feels like when that energy is gone. The heaviness that is there before the day even starts. The fog that no amount of sleep seems to fully clear. The way the afternoon arrives too soon and costs too much. The end of the day leaving you with less than you started with, and less again tomorrow. What if that was not your body failing you? What if it was your body waiting for something it has not been receiving? Something so simple it has been sitting in your kitchen for your entire adult life. Something the ancient world called a preparation for the blood. Something prescribed by Hippocrates, trusted by the workers who built the Great Pyramid, recommended in the Talmud, and used as the primary morning medicine across 6 civilizations on 6 continents. And what it does to your energy, your focus, your stamina, and the way your body carries you through the day begins within minutes of the first bite. This is garlic on an empty stomach, and the 7 mornings ahead of you are going to remind you what energy is supposed to feel like. This plant has been trusted as medicine for 5,000 years. It was found in the tomb of Tutankhamun, placed there as protection and sustenance for the eternal journey. The workers who built the Great Pyramid were given it daily. Hippocrates prescribed it for weakness of the blood, for infections, for the depletion that accumulated in bodies pushed beyond what they were receiving in return. Roman soldiers were issued it before long campaigns, and Russian field medics in 2 world wars used it when every pharmaceutical option had run out. And it worked. It is small, white, papery on the outside, sharp and immediate on the inside. And when you eat it raw, on an empty stomach, before anything else, after crushing it and letting it rest for 10 minutes, it becomes something that cooked garlic, processed garlic, and garlic supplements almost never achieve. It becomes the full version of itself. It is garlic. And the version of it most people have been eating, cooked into meals, diluted by heat, absorbed around a full stomach, has been delivering a fraction of what is available when the same plant is given the right conditions. 7 mornings of giving it those conditions will show you the difference. If this is already shifting how you see that clove in your kitchen, subscribe right now. What raw garlic on an empty stomach can do for your energy, your focus, and the way you feel moving through the day is one of the most important stories on this channel. And there is much more coming that you will not want to miss. Here is where this story begins, and it begins with a workforce that could not afford to be sick. The workers who built the Great Pyramid of Giza spent years moving stone in extreme heat with extreme physical demands. Their employers understood something simple and observable. A workforce that stayed strong and healthy completed the work. A workforce that got sick, weakened, or accumulated the kind of physical depletion that comes from demanding labor without adequate recovery, did not. The solution inscribed on the walls of the pyramid itself: garlic, issued daily as part of the foundational ration, not as a flavor, as a maintenance tool, as the daily practice that kept the blood strong and the body capable. Hippocrates, who is still called the father of modern medicine, prescribed garlic for what he described as weakness of the blood. Not a disease, a state. The state that most people in the modern world would recognize immediately. Low energy, poor recovery, the feeling of a body that is not quite keeping pace with the demands being placed on it. His prescription: raw garlic, before food, as a morning preparation. And in the Jewish Talmudic tradition, garlic was prescribed for 5 specific benefits, including warming the body, brightening the face, and increasing vitality. The word used, vitality, is not about treating illness, it is about maintaining the quality of being fully alive. Every tradition, every culture, the same observation: a body given raw garlic before food, consistently, as a morning practice, is a different body from one that is not. This is the part that explains why the timing matters more than most people realize. When you eat garlic with a meal, something predictable happens. The food slows the absorption. The digestive system is occupied with processing everything else that arrived at the same time. The active compound, allicin, formed in the 10 minutes between crushing and eating, competes with proteins, fats, and carbohydrates for the same absorptive surface. Much of it passes through partially used. Some degrades before it reaches its target. The garlic is there. The body receives a fraction of what was possible. On an empty stomach, none of that competition exists. The absorptive surface of the digestive tract is clear. The liver, still transitioning from its overnight detoxification work to its daytime function, is in the optimal state to receive the incoming compounds, and the allicin moves through the system quickly, cleanly, and completely. Studies have measured the difference. Allicin bioavailability on an empty stomach is up to 3 times higher than the same clove consumed with food. 3 times. That is not a marginal improvement. That is the difference between a daily practice that produces noticeable results and one that produces almost none. So we decided to pay attention the way the ancient world paid attention. Not with blood tests or energy trackers, just with the body, and with 7 mornings. 1 raw clove of garlic, crushed, rested for 10 minutes, eaten on an empty stomach before anything else, every morning, for 7 days, no coffee first, no breakfast first, just the clove, and the body's response to receiving the full version of this plant for the first time. Here is what we noticed. Day 1. The preparation takes 2 minutes. The clove is crushed, rested for 10 minutes, then eaten, with a teaspoon of raw honey to moderate the intensity. The warmth arrives in the mouth immediately and spreads through the throat into the chest and stomach within minutes. Something activates. Not like caffeine, more grounded than that, more like the body recognizing something rather than being stimulated by something. Some people notice that the first hour of the day has a different quality, more present, less effortful. The morning arrives with something already in it, rather than requiring effort to build from nothing. Day 2. The second morning, the response comes faster. The body recognizes the preparation. Within 15 minutes of eating the clove, the warmth and activation are established. Some people notice that the mid-morning hunger, the reach for food because the energy is already fading, arrives later. Others notice breakfast sits differently. The heaviness that usually follows food feels quieter, not dramatic, just enough to notice that something is changing. Day 3. By day 3, the morning energy has a different character. People who usually need 2 coffees to arrive at full function describe needing 1 or none. The energy is not borrowed, it is present. Some describe it as the difference between being switched on from the outside and being already running from the inside. The body is responding to 3 consecutive mornings of receiving something real before the day began, demanding things from it. Day 4. Physical ease. The stiffness that usually requires the first 20 minutes of movement before the body cooperates is shorter. Some people describe the morning body as arriving at readiness more quickly. Others notice that the chronic low-level discomfort in the joints, the background ache in the knees or lower back that had become normalized, is quieter. The anti-inflammatory activity building across 4 mornings is beginning to express itself in the body's physical baseline. Less friction, more ease. Day 5. By day 5, the thinking in the morning is sharper than it was at the start of the week. The fog that usually occupies the first 2 hours is thinner. The sustained focus that usually requires effort comes more readily. Day 6. Energy through the entire day is different. Not just the morning. The afternoon, the hour that used to be the most expensive part of the day, the one that required management to get through, arrives more manageably. Some people describe it as the first week in recent memory where the afternoon did not feel like a cost. Day 7. The 7th morning, eating the garlic before breakfast has become as natural as any other part of the morning routine. The 2 minutes feel like an investment that the rest of the day returns on with compound interest. Most people describe day 7 with a specific and personal recognition, something along the lines of, "I had forgotten what it felt like to have energy that belonged to me. I had been managing for so long that I had stopped expecting anything else." The body remembered before the mind did, and that is the moment the practice stops being a 7-day experiment. The timeline tracks the days, the science explains why. But what this morning ritual could mean for the version of you who maintains it, not just for 7 days but as a consistent practice across weeks and months, is what matters most. Because the workers who built the Great Pyramid did not eat raw garlic every morning for a week and stop. They did it for the years the building required, and their bodies met the demand. Energy that is actually yours. Imagine starting each morning with energy that was not borrowed from a stimulant, not forced through willpower, and not already depleted before the first real challenge of the day arrived. Many people who maintain this practice describe, across consistent weeks, a fundamental shift in the character of their energy, more reliable, more sustained, more like the body is producing from its own resources rather than running on external support. The mid-morning fade that most people manage with a second coffee becomes less necessary. The afternoon that used to cost so much arrives with more in reserve. The end of the day has something left in it, feeling 10 years younger in the body. This is not a marketing promise. It is a consistent observation from people who maintain this practice across months. The inflammation that accumulates silently across years of a modern life, in the joints, in the arteries, in the gut lining, is being addressed daily before anything else competes for the body's resources. The result, over time, is a body that moves more freely, aches less reliably, and maintains the kind of physical capacity that most people expect to gradually lose. Many people describe, looking back across months of this practice, a sense that the body is performing younger than it was before, not because aging has been reversed, because its rate of accumulation has been slowed. A sharper, faster mind. Many people describe, after weeks of this practice, a quality of mental clarity they had stopped expecting to access without caffeine or significant effort. The fog that used to define the first 2 hours of the morning, the lag between being awake and being mentally present, becomes shorter, then thinner, then largely absent. The sustained attention that used to require deliberate management becomes more naturally available. This is not garlic as a cognitive enhancer. This is a body whose gut is better balanced, whose inflammation is lower, and whose circulation is more efficient, thinking better because it is running better, vitality that builds rather than fades. This is the long view, the one that the ancient world was watching. The pyramid workers, the Hippocratic patients, the generations of Mediterranean and Asian and Middle Eastern grandmothers who made this practice part of how every morning began. They were not treating disease, they were building something, day by day, morning by morning, giving the body what it needed to maintain the kind of vitality that most people expect to gradually lose, and watching it not be lost. Many people describe, looking back across months of this practice, a sense that their relationship with their own body has changed. Less management, more trust, less fighting through the day, and more moving through it. Your body is capable of more energy and restoration than most people realize. Raw garlic on an empty stomach is not dramatic. It takes 2 minutes. It has been available every morning of your adult life. The only thing that changed today is that now you know what it does when you give it the conditions it needs. The preparation, the 2-minute morning practice. Crush 1 raw garlic clove. Use a knife, a press, the back of a spoon, anything that fully breaks the cell wall. Then stop. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Wait. This is the most important step most people skip. And skipping it means eating a shell of the medicine without the medicine inside. The active compound forms during this 10-minute enzymatic reaction. There is no shortcut. After 10 minutes, eat the clove. The most accessible options, with raw honey, 1 clove with a teaspoon of raw honey. The honey moderates the sharpness significantly, adds its own antimicrobial properties, and makes the preparation something most people look forward to within a week. Timing, before anything else. Before coffee, before breakfast, before any other food or drink beyond water. 20 to 30 minutes before the first meal is the optimal window. Consistency matters more than perfection. A clove eaten every day at a slightly imperfect time will always outperform a perfect preparation done 3 days a week. Start with half a clove if you are new to raw garlic on an empty stomach. Give the gut 2 to 3 days to adjust before moving to a full clove. Most initial discomfort resolves within the first week. Garlic on an empty stomach in the amounts described is safe for most people. Some people experience mild stomach discomfort in the first few days. Starting with half a clove, or the fermented honey garlic preparation, resolves this in most cases. People on blood-thinning medications should be aware that garlic has mild anticoagulant properties. Speak with a healthcare provider if you are on warfarin or similar medications. People scheduled for surgery are generally advised to stop regular garlic supplementation 1 to 2 weeks beforehand. People with active gastric ulcers or severe acid reflux should approach raw garlic carefully and consult a healthcare provider. Start small, build gradually. The practice maintained consistently across months will always deliver more than the maximum dose held for 3 days. Here is what stays with me about garlic on an empty stomach. You have probably eaten garlic hundreds of times in your life, in sauces, in roasted dishes, in the recipes that have become part of your daily cooking. But the garlic you have been eating, cooked, diluted, consumed around a full meal, has been delivering a fraction of what this plant was always capable of. What generations observed was energy, vitality, the sustained physical and mental capacity of bodies that were being genuinely maintained rather than simply managed. That is available to you. 2 minutes every morning, before the coffee, before the noise, before the day begins asking things of you that it expects you to have the resources to deliver. Give the body something real first, and watch what becomes possible when the rest of the day no longer feels like something you have to survive. So here is what I want you to do. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else, crush 1 clove of garlic, let it rest for 10 minutes. Eat it with a teaspoon of raw honey. Do it for 7 mornings, and then come back to this channel and tell me what changed. Which morning was the one where the energy arrived differently? Which day was the one where the afternoon held? Which moment was the one where you realized the body had more in it than you remembered? Leave a comment, tell us your day 3 or your day 6. Tell us what the body showed you that you were not expecting. Because this channel exists to bring back what has been forgotten. And every person who tries this and comes back to tell us what happened, you are part of something that has been going on for 5,000 years. Try it tomorrow morning. Come back and tell us what 7 mornings gave you. And if the energy changed, share this with someone who has stopped expecting to feel this way and needs to be reminded that it is still possible. We will see you next time with something else that your kitchen has been holding for you.